Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today, guys, we're going to be taking a look at Cardano's ADA. Now, we're not going to spend too much time looking at micro movements and that kind of stuff. I really want to spend a little bit of time talking about the macro view. Okay, there's a lot of things going on the smaller time frame, but I think that a lot of that is actually going to be kind of driven from BTC. So check out the Bitcoin video if you're looking for more of the micro movements of what to kind of expect from Cardano, because I think it's going to be something quite similar. But the macro is slightly different, and I do want to kind of talk about the macro a bit here because man, it is looking so strong. So guys, as I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, so why not go ahead and check it out? I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. Right, so let's get into this. Right, this is the monthly view for ADA paired up with USDT. Now, I've left on the stochastic RSI because I really want to spend a little bit of time here just to review where that is, right? If we really take a look at this, what's happened here? Well, we were at low points just down here. Now, this is actually a little bit ahead of the crash in March of 2020, but this is basically the lows of September to December 2019 were oversold like this, right? Now, where are we? We're in a very similar spot, right? We're right the way down here. Got to bear in mind, right? Anything lower than 20 on the stochastic RSI is considered oversold. And we are currently sat at 2.12. Okay, on the fast line. The slow line is at 1.78. So when we start reviewing, where we are, absolute zero is going to be, absolutely insanely oversold, right? And we're so close to that, it's ridiculous. So what does this look like? What does this mean? Well, if we take a look at what happens during the stochastic RSI moving to the upside, right? When the stochastic RSI moves up into overbought, which is above 80, and then pulls back down, what does that actually look like? So let me just remove those. Well, essentially, we have a bull run, right? And a bull cycle. Now, for Cardano, I look at this as an expanding flat correction, but we could also chalk it up as saying that the fifth wave has technically completed, and we're actually in an ABC correction come down, and now we're ready to move up. And if that is the case, then actually, we haven't seen a bear market in the way that you would expect, at least not a wave 2 that you would expect. So, if we were to take this from that high point, we would be talking at coming down pretty reasonably all the way down to this low point, right, which would put us at about 11 cent ADA. That would be bear market kind of scenarios, but we haven't seen that. We have seen a very significant drop, though. It's hard to kind of refute that. It's a 75% drop from all-time high. But that's actually led us down from overbought to oversold. And actually, that isn't too bad at all, considering what has happened previously. So if we were just reflect on this, there's a couple of ways to kind of count it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, that's one way of counting it. And technically, that fifth wave, it has met the minimum requirements. However, I don't think the fifth wave is actually finished. Instead, what I think is actually going on here is that we have an expanding flat correction like this, just inside here. And this is our fourth wave corrective move. And the reason for this is that when you have a simple correction, over here, this wave 2, then wave 4 would normally be complex. Likewise, if wave 2 was complex, wave 4 would be simple, as in it would just be a straight ABC move. And so these two things normally are opposite of each other, and they don't normally kind of represent each other accurately. In the same way that sometimes there's an alternative way of thinking about it as well, where if one drops down sharply, the other one will be quite flat. Okay, and they kind of alternate around that way as well. And this alternated way of counting the waves, it can happen. It's not a guarantee, it doesn't always happen. But here, I think this is an expanding flat correction. In the same way that Bitcoin is actually having a running flat correction and hasn't reached its fifth wave high. Many altcoins haven't reached their fifth wave. So I think this actually ties in better with where ADA is, and also why we're so oversold right now, because we haven't had that fifth wave up higher. And if we were to measure the high points to the low points of what we've seen so far, then we are talking about $4.34 all the way up to about $7.84, $7.48 on that fifth wave minimum requirement. But again, we could overextend and we could see some crazy numbers that we just wouldn't normally think about when it comes to Cardano. Now, in the same way that we have Bitcoin, and we talk about Bitcoin's shortage of supply on exchanges, it's come about that actually Binance is seriously struggling with ADA as well, and there's a shortage of ADA in supply. I think the staked amount is 72% as well, so a significant amount is delegated and staked, which is fantastic, and I think that number will fluctuate a little bit here and there. Total value locked on Cardano changes a little bit again. As price pulls back, the value that is locked technically falls back at the same time. It doesn't mean that there's a significant portion being pulled off. It just means that the price of the asset is volatile. It's moved as well, right? Likewise, when total value moves up, or total locked value moves up and the price has moved up at the same time, it's not because more has been locked up in that sense. It's just that the price of the asset moved up, right? So there's a couple of variables that I think people often forget about when it comes to total value locked and what it's actually representing. So essentially, there's a couple of key metrics. Chris talks about the metrics like that all the time on the channel. I kind of stick to the more technical analysis within the charts and the price data. But essentially, I'm thinking that Cardano is in a really good spot on this monthly chart for long-term growth. And it wouldn't surprise me with the shortage of supply, serious FOMO that kicks in once we actually start to see some decent apps launching on the ecosystem, which I think is just around the corner. We've got some fantastic ones at the moment. We've got some good dexes out there, and we've got lots of NFT projects running on the system. We've got metaverse projects looking to launch later in the year. We've got lots of DeFi coming. I think Cardano's in a really, really good spot, let alone all the kind of other things that are going on, other projects, be them artificial intelligence based, etc. I think Cardano's ecosystem is going to flourish, but as a result of that, I think you're going to start to see more demand for ADA. And as I often say, there's two things that really matter for price discovery. One is going to be the supply. Has it been squeezed? Is there a shortage of supply? In the case of ADA on certain exchanges, that is the case. There is a shortage. Well, soon as we start to see the next metric, which is demand, which will come when we start seeing all these dApps launch on the ecosystem, you're going to see a significant price surge when it comes to Cardano's ADA. The supply and demand elements of it is going to absolutely befuddle many haters of the network as they see its market cap, this notional value of last sold price multiplied by circulating supply, increase at a rapid rate. And again, you'll see that nonsense, that FUD of why does it have a market cap that is X, Y, and Z? And it's because market cap isn't the amount of money in the project. It absolutely has no bearing on that whatsoever. The only thing that market cap does is gives us humans the ability to kind of understand where we might rank things slightly. But it doesn't mean that you can go ahead and push a sell button and sell all 45 billion coins instantaneously, and that's the amount of money that you would have, even though there aren't 45 billion coins in circulating supply. It's just a kind of an example there. So you understand what market cap is, understand what it isn't, and do understand the importance of supply and demand. The two most important when it comes to price discovery. So everything on this monthly chart is telling us that, man, we've got a few very exciting months ahead. Okay, so what about that weekly? Well, the weekly is not as good, okay? There is going to be some volatility, which is why I was saying you should probably be checking out what Bitcoin is doing, because Bitcoin is going to go down, in my opinion, down to the range of about $34,000, $35,000, right? And as such, these altcoins are going to bleed out at the same time. We're going to see some discounted rates on ADA for sure, okay? And this weekly chart is going to correct down. We're going to see the stochastic RSI on this weekly chart pull back down, okay? The monthly stock is going to stay oversold. We might actually reach complete zero on that monthly chart. And that is the exact origin of where we were in 2019. Okay, so we'll see some fluctuations. We will still see some downward action here. We are likely to go down a little bit lower, but I'm not expecting to lose the overall low, okay? But I am expecting some damage to be had here for Cardano. And that's going to be an opportunity over everything I was just talking about on that larger time frame. This is going to be, I don't think it's going to be a flash crash, but it's going to be down. It's going to hit hard, and we're going to basically, come out the other side of it looking so much stronger. Okay. Once this weekly stochastic RSI is oversold, I think we're primed and ready for another move upwards, okay? As I take a look at this was the range that we were looking at on the daily chart. We've come all the way down here already, and I don't think this is necessarily over just yet. We still could pull back a little bit lower. Like I said, I'm not looking to lose this low point of about 77.8. We want that to hold, because holding that area is going to be key to keeping this structure that we are looking for here. If we do lose it, then I do need to move this around a little bit. This is probably then a 335, and rather than a 5 and a wave 2. But this retracement is pretty typical of a wave 2. but it is in a 5-wave structure, and that does bother me as well. So ultimately we could be pushing up a little bit and then pulling back down and losing this level. So I'm going to keep that open. Ultimately we're oversold right now, so we are looking for upward move here on the daily chart, but the weekly does need to come down and all that kind of good stuff. So essentially, yeah, follow Bitcoin. I think it's going to lead Bitcoin, it's going to lead ADA down ever so slightly. The weekly chart will correct down with Bitcoin. I'll get down into an oversold area, and of course guys, that monthly chart looking so sweet where it is right now, and I do expect us to be able to move out of this area pretty quickly in the coming months. By the end of the year, I think Cardano will be significantly higher than it is today. But guys, that's just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot offer you financial advice. Do not buy or sell on anything I say here in this video. It is for educational purposes and basically what I see inside the data. But do join us in Discord if you're looking for a little bit more from the crypto space. Check out the Patreon services as well. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.